What's going on, guys? I'm Alayton the Scent God, and this is Simply Put Scents. And on this channel, as you already know, we talk about some of the best and worst fragrances on the market today. My goal is to help you smell amazing, but never basic or ordinary, because ordinary is very, very boring. And I'm so grateful for you all to come through. I'm the fragrance ambassador of Bergdorf Goodman, and my goal, as I mentioned, is to offer you options that you don't hear about too much and offer you content that's not always like on everyone's radar. But today, I'm doing a video that's very, very typical.
For sure.
And probably very algorithm friendly, we'll see. I've been noticing something. I did a video about the new Sauvage Eau Forte by Dior, and I feel like I'm one of the only fragrance reviewers on social media that finds the fragrance to be excellent. So I wanted to do kind of like a video where I compare it to other fragrances from the Sauvage line. So I have all 5 releases of Sauvage right here. We're gonna get into it, and I'm gonna start with the original, Sauvage Eau de Toilette. I think Axe body spray. I think shower gel, shampoo, conditioner for men. This is like a very modern, very, very drugstore adjacent take on a fougere. This is a drugstore smell in a designer fragrance presentation. And it's pleasant. I honestly wished the bergamot in the top note of this scent lasted longer, because if it did, this would probably be my favorite Sauvage right now. Is it the most played out? Yes. It's kind of explosive for an EDT. This EDT is stronger than most extrays on the market right now. But it's also something that reminds me of something very, very inexpensive. Now we're going to get into the Eau de Parfum version of Sauvage. In the Eau de Parfum version of Sauvage, it almost comes across like the Sichuan pepper in the fragrance is dialed up a lot. There's also some star anise in the Eau de Parfum, so it comes across a lot more spicy. And there's also nutmeg in the Eau de Parfum version. So nutmeg, pink pepper, star anise, and vanilla were added to kind of the Eau de Toilette version, and you get the Eau de Parfum. And I always felt like this was a really good flanker for the Eau de Toilette. It filled the gap the Eau de Toilette doesn't fill.
That's what she said.
Michael, please. Please.
This is a lot more dark, a lot more, well, obviously a lot spicier. And in that respect, it does smell more expensive. And it is more expensive. It smells more expensive. I do, again, like the freshness of the original. But I do like this a lot. The spicy, dark style of this one is more accentuated and enhanced. And I think it's insanely good. It still smells like Axe, but it's leaving that Axe world a lot more than the original. To me, the original smells like straight up perfume in a can.
In the bathroom.
And now, let's get into the parfum. This fragrance, other than the other two, features citrus in the opening in the form of mandarin, orange, and bergamot. There's added sandalwood to this formula, and the vanilla in this perfume comes from New Guinea, and it's an absolute. There's also cedarwood in the parfum, which you do not find in the original or the Eau de Parfum. Eau de Parfum, sorry. I feel like the Eau de Parfum and the Parfum kind of steps on each other's toes. They were very, very redundant releases. I kind of feel like the Eau de Parfum is better. I like the spiciness of the Eau de Parfum more. And I feel like the Parfum is, I'm not a fan. I find that all 3 of them, by the way, has a chemical in it that is very annoying to my nose. There's a chemical that I find in these 3 designer fragrances that I do smell in a lot of designer perfumes. I don't know what that chemical is. I don't know what that ingredient in these fragrances are, but it's sometimes when I smell it, it's a clear cut sign to me that the scent that I'm smelling is a designer perfume. That chemical is in each one of them. But I do not smell that chemical typically when I'm smelling niche fragrances. And I'm not a fan of it. Now, I'm getting into this elixir. Of all 4 of the releases up until that point when this fragrance came out in 2021, it did smell the most interesting, the most expensive after the Eau de Parfum. However, again, in this fragrance, there's a chemical that tells me that this is a designer perfume. In my opinion, this is definitely not a niche alternative to the Sauvage line, although that has been said by a few people. This is not a niche alternative to Sauvage. This doesn't smell niche at all. If I smelled a niche fragrance that smelled like this, I would think it was a very bad niche perfume.
Damn!
I'm gonna just be real with you. It definitely smells designer, and it's definitely not worth the price, in my opinion. I would not spend what this fragrance costs to own it. I just won't. Honestly, I feel like the Eau de Parfum, the Eau de Toilette smell better. The Elixir is trying to be the best. It's doing a lot. It's doing a whole lot, you know? It's got a lot going on. If you smell the Elixir, you'll notice nutmeg, cardamom, cinnamon, grapefruit, lavender, licorice, which you definitely smell, and I don't like that. Haitian vetiver. It's not that I don't like licorice. I don't like the way licorice smells in this presentation. It's almost like they were trying to justify a more higher priced version by throwing in a bunch of really noisy spices. But in my opinion, they just made it like, it kind of reminds me of Jean-Paul Gaultier Le Male Elixir, where it's like everything and nothing all at the same time. I just find this to be expensive chaos. And now, guys, my favorite, Sauvage Eau Forte, that milky white. This is the best version of Sauvage, hands down. If you smell them back to back to back, to back to back, how do you find this to be basic? I don't get it. It smells, first of all, remember I was mentioning to you about the chemical scents I smell in each and every version of Sauvage, all 4 other versions? It's missing in this. It literally smells like water, like Sauvage water. It smells clean, but still dark, interesting. To me, this is the most interesting take on Sauvage. How they were able to get this fragrance to come across as aquatic as it smells is very interesting. The reason why this perfume is white is because it's using I guess you could say, an ingredient that allows the perfume oil and the fragrance and the water base to link together and actually not come across like separated. Like oil and water separates. And also using a fragrance with glycerin in it or a water-based scent, it allows your perfume to literally soak into your skin and sink deep into your skin without evaporating, because it's basically adding moisturization to your skin along with the fragrance. Typically, when you're wearing a fragrance with a water base, it doesn't project much. It lasts sometimes, and sometimes it doesn't last at all. But typically, it's not going to fill the room or project. The ingredients in this fragrance allows this water-based fragrance to perform better than most water-based perfumes. Is it stronger than all of the other versions of Sauvage? No, it's not. This fragrance is a lot muskier than every single Sauvage so far. Some people will smell a musk fragrance and their brain says, ooh, I got it. I know what that smells like. We don't need to focus on it. And your brain will literally shut your nose down from experiencing it going forward. So sometimes when you'll wear a musk fragrance, you would have thought that scent is long dissipated off your skin, whereas people around you will be able to smell it and tell you how good you smell. That's what's going on when I think people are wearing Eau Forte. They're smelling it, but they're not able to smell it after a certain amount of time, and they think it's weak. This is not a weak fragrance. I don't know what's up with some people's skin, but I've been able to notice this fragrance 6 to 8 hours into my day. Obviously, 6 to 8 hours in, it's not gonna fill up the room. It's more of a skin scent. That's not a problem for me, because one of the things that I find with Sauvage in particular is that they are sometimes too much. I will say this, for the last 2 days, I've been asking some of my clients what they thought of Elixir versus Eau Forte. And Elixir is widely considered the best version of Sauvage, although I again think the original is the best. Or at least the EDP is better to me. Both EDP and the EDT to me, I appreciate more than the Elixir personally. I think the EDP could have been the Elixir, to be honest. But anyway, I would show ladies these two fragrances. 8 out of the 10 ladies that I asked loves the Eau Forte over the Elixir. So I don't know why people are hating on this fragrance. I really don't get it. I think a lot of people need to grow up and get over that. You know, being distracted by the color of the juice is kind of weird, because this is a really, really great fragrance. Not a good fragrance, a great fragrance. And I'm saying that with my full chest. And if you don't like it, it's understandable. Not every fragrance is for everyone. But the hate that this fragrance is getting, when it's literally an improvement on everything they've done so far, is kind of annoying to my spirit and ridiculous. You want to see the sprayer, guys? Check out that sprayer. Does it look weird to you? No. Not at all. But that's the sprayer. Nothing's wrong. It's not like leaking, if you know what I mean. There's no white stuff on the bottle, you know. It's good. Do I like how it lives on you when you first spray it? No. I'm black, so now you can see. Look at this, guys. I would suggest not rubbing this fragrance at all. I wouldn't dab, I wouldn't rub, I just would let it live. I'm wondering if the people who are wearing it that are complaining about its longevity is spraying it and then rubbing or dabbing or tapping, whatever the heck is going on. I wonder, because this fragrance does not just go away on my skin. I will offer a critique about it though. Like, I feel like I'm getting everything that's in this fragrance from the first spray. It is a gimmick. It's a water-based fragrance. That's gimmicky, for sure. The Eau Forte smells expensive. Doesn't smell cheap. But is it a gimmick? Yes. And are people gonna hate that? Yes. Because that's what I'm noticing people are upset about more than anything. The fact that this is not an alcohol-forward fragrance. What's wrong with making a fragrance for people with different needs in their scents? We have a loud, intense Sauvage. There's four of them for you to choose from. Why does this version of Sauvage need to be a 12 to 15 hour fragrance? Oh yeah, another thing I could critique about this fragrance, the way this fragrance distributes fragrance can be a little inconsistent. This fragrance can come out with a little bit of extra skeet, you know? So that's not a bad thing. I'm not mad, but that could be something that you need to know and pay attention to. It can distribute unevenly. There is no way people say that this is a 2-hour fragrance, a 1-hour fragrance. If this fragrance is lasting an hour on your skin, it's your skin, not the fragrance. I'm just letting you know. It's not the fragrance, it's you. And that's okay too. And that might be why you're not a fan of the fragrance, but that's not the fragrance fault. It's your skin. It's the most distinctive, unique, interesting version of Sauvage so far, the most expensive smelling, the most well-blended. Like, this fragrance is great. It's a great fragrance, and if you're not thinking it's a great fragrance, you don't have to agree. But I do think if you smelled it and you compared them, it would be really, really difficult to not understand why I'm saying it's a good fragrance. Look at how my hand looks now. Remember that old milky white that was on there? Gone. But look at that sheen. I look greasy right there. And that's how this fragrance works as a moisturizing agent on skin. I don't know why people haven't even mentioned that. Like there's a reason for it. Number one, my favorite version of Sauvage, boom. Number two, my second favorite version of Sauvage, Eau de Toilette, oldie but goodie. Definitely the most F-boy adjacent though. Yeah, this made huge impact. A lot of women smell this and think of the man they wish they never met. I'm just gonna put it out there like that. Now the other three, absolutely repetitive. They're good, especially the Eau de Parfum, but I just feel like these are like like extra. I think they're good, but they're not necessary. If you had the Eau de Toilette, the Eau Forte, you're set. You don't need these, especially this. This costs too much. Costs way too much, in my opinion. The hate is coming from the glycerin infusion into the scent. That's literally where all the hate is coming from. It's not coming from the scent, because the scent is damn good. The hate is coming from the gimmick that is being rejected. The fact that it's a white colored juice and it's made for guys, it is what it is. Damn, Elixir was an instant cop for me. I think it smells more niche than Masculine Purial, and I put those in the same category. Love them both. I get you, bro. I cannot agree. I just can't agree. There's something about Sauvage Elixir that's just so over the top. And I do understand it's the least commercial, if you'd like to say that. I definitely agree. It's definitely the least commercial option of the 5 fragrances, including Forte. So some people might say because it's not commercial, it's niche. I do get that interpretation. But that chemical that I smell in this, it's just messy, guys. It's too expensive to have that chemical that I smell in cheap fragrances. I'm sorry. Yeah, so 1, 2, unnecessary. I think the hate is going to be that initial vibe, and then all of the haters are going to fall in line and start to like it. That's exactly what happened when the original came out. People hated it and lambasted it. All these reviewers were like, it's crap, it's crap. And then they eventually did videos saying how much it was amazing and they loved it and it was the best fragrance ever. So I have my own mind. I trust my taste. And my taste is well informed and well educated, and I believe it. So I trust my taste when I say Eau Forte, that's a good one for sure. Does it stain? No, and I'll prove it to you. Look at this blue suit, look at this white juice. Look at that, nothing, no whiteness, none. I actually need to test how this lives on cloth because I would like to know, and I'm overspraying. Why not? It's water. Anyway, guys, I'm Alayton, the Scent God, and this is Simply Put Scents. And I'm Simply OUT, guys. Peace. Look at that glisten, damn. Look at shiny. Oh my God. Too funny. Take care, guys. Be safe.
And you know what else? Screw you guys. I'm going home. Cartman! Screw you guys. Home.